Welcome back. Affordability is not enough. That warning comes to Democrats from Kentucky's Democratic governor, Andy Beshear. He argues something is disappearing in America. Belief in the American dream. Also disappearing, a common language, he argues. And he says Democrats have to fess up about their part in both of these situations. The governor joins me now. Governor, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Let me just take two issues that President Trump hammers all the time, immigration and crime. Do you believe your party nationally has an Achilles heel with both?
I don't, but I do think our party needs to be one where border security is viewed as national security, but the way in which we enforce our immigration laws shows our humanity. We are not a party, nor are we a country where people pull up in armored Humvees in the middle of the night, jump out in masks, wrestle somebody to the ground, and have them potentially in another state before they even begin to ask questions. Public safety, look at the work that we actually put in. You know, Donald Trump wants to do the stunt. He wants to send National Guard that isn't going to make you safer a week or a month from now. And what he does is cut back on the grants that help us to pay our police officers more, to reduce recidivism, to intervene with youth. Those are the types of ways that we actually move things forward. But my belief is the way we truly do this is to remember that public safety, how you feel in your community, isn't a Democrat or a Republican thing. It's something we're all supposed to work on together.
Do you think one problem in America, Governor, is that we have a thriving American dream in urban America and a dying American dream in rural America?
Oh, I think the American dream is under fire in all parts of our country, and that should concern us. I mean, the American dream, the belief that if we work hard and we follow the rules that we can get ahead, has propelled this country to great heights. Yet today, right now, folks are struggling to afford paying groceries at the end of the month, and they can't take their kids on that same vacation that they grew up going on. Young couples can't buy a house, and it looks like it might be a decade longer than it was for their parents before they have the opportunity to. Costs keep going up, whether it's for car insurance in Nevada or on other goods in other places in our country. The Democratic Party has to be the party that says, we see you, America. We understand that you care about your job and whether you can support your family, your next doctor's appointment, the roads and bridges you drive, the school you drop your kids off at, and whether you feel safe in your community, and we're going to live right there. We're going to make your life a little bit better, a little bit easier, and we are going to reignite that American dream so that you've got hope for a better life, and so that my kids and everyone else's can grow up in a country similar to the one we enjoyed.
Governor, you've recently written that Democratic language is defective. What's defective about it?
Well, for far too long, advocacy speak, which was meant for the right reasons. It was meant to reduce stigma, but you don't change stigma by changing words. You change stigma by changing hearts. And it infiltrated our language to where we sounded more professorial, like we were talking at people instead of talking to people, or sometimes like we were talking down to people. And it takes the meaning out of words. I'll give you an example. Kentucky was hit by the opioid epidemic harder than just about anywhere else. We've all lost a dozen or so people that we love and care about that were taken far too soon, but none of us lost those individuals to substance use disorder. We lost them to addiction, and when you hear it, it's mean, it's nasty, it kills people we love, or when someone triumphs over it, they deserve credit for going up against that challenge and coming out on the other side. And right now, people want authenticity. They want their leaders to be passionate, but also normal. And to be normal, we've got to talk to people like we're normal.
Meaning get rid of food insecurity.
Yes. I mean, who gets an emotional reaction from food insecurity? Like, that big, ugly bill is going to do more to make people go hungry than anything I've seen in my lifetime. Look at the president refusing to fund SNAP in the middle of the government shutdown, the first president ever. What was that resulting in? Seniors not being able to sleep because they're hungry. Kids not being able to focus in the classroom because they're hungry. Not because they're food insecure, but because their stomach hurts and the rest of their body is reacting to it. You know, the American people expect us to fight for them, and so we've got to make sure we're using the type of language that conveys how committed we are. And I know for me and for my fellow Democratic governors, we are committed to making life a little bit better for all our people.
Governor, you're soon to take the helm of the Democratic Governors Association. My first presidential campaign as a reporter was 1992. You might remember the eventual nominee of the Democratic Party was a gentleman named Bill Clinton, who rode the Democratic Governors Association, among many other assignments, to prominence within the Democratic Party. So with that as a backdrop, what are your intentions in 2028?
He was a Southern governor. Right now, I'm trying to speak reason into the chaos that we see around our country, to be a common ground, common sense, get things done type of voice, not just for the Democratic Party, but I'd love to pull everybody into at least starting our conversations there. As you mentioned, about a week and a half, I take over the Democratic Governors Association, and my goal is to change the map, to elect Democratic governors in places that you don't expect. And listen, I won in a state that Donald Trump won by 30, a Democrat with about a 64 to a 68% approval rating. So I feel like I have something to add to this conversation, hopefully to lift up candidates in places like Iowa and Georgia to make sure we win.
And Governor,
after a successful
that's my very point, because what Bill Clinton said at the time sounds very much like what you're saying now. I have a different approach, the approach that many in the party that might be more influential in the nominating process has failed, and I want to skip that nominating process or redirect it so I can win in a general. That's what you sound like to me.
Well, when we get done with 2026, ensuring that more Americans have Democratic leadership, because when Democrats win, we do what Republicans can't. We govern well. After that, I'll sit down with my family. What's most important to me is that we heal this country. I don't want my kids growing up in a world where everything is us versus them, where everything's viewed through a lens that's D versus R, where you're told you should dislike your neighbor or they are the enemy from within simply because they registered when they were 18 with a different letter behind their name. So that's what we'll look at. Am I that candidate that can help heal this country, or is someone else? Because I'll tell you, I will always put the United States of America and trying to ensure it's that same stable, wonderful country that I enjoyed as a child, making sure that my children and everyone else's get to see that same country.
Governor, before I let you go, what will befall, if anything, the Commonwealth of Kentucky if Obamacare expanded tax credits expire at the end of this year?
Oh, it's going to be devastating, and it's devastation on top of devastation. So the big, ugly bill that's already passed is going to gut rural health care and rural economies. We got 35 rural hospitals that may close. Each is the largest payroll in their community. That closes, and you got to drive 2 hours to see a doctor. Oh, and it's not just the hospital that closes. It's the local restaurant, coffee shop, bank, and insurance agency, because all those dollars are no longer in the economy, and all those professionals had to move somewhere else. Now, take health care costing more for people on the exchange who are buying that private insurance that actually pays those rural hospitals a little bit more than Medicaid patients. Now you take all that out of that hospital, and they have no choice but to close or to cut a lot of those lines. So this isn't just impacting healthcare, which is a basic human right. This is going to hammer the economy in profound and difficult ways. It's the worst piece of legislation in my lifetime, the big ugly bill, and the fact that congressional Republicans would pass a bill to extend a tax cut for the wealthy, but not a tax credit for working Americans trying to afford health care, shows exactly where they are right now.
Kentucky Governor, Democrat, Andy Beshear. Governor, it's been a pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.